So I majored in psychology, and then I got a master's in counseling from Denver Seminary because my faith was of paramount importance to me, still is, and I wanted to better understand the intersection between my Christian faith, or just faith in general, and psychology and human healing. My intellectual and I'd say even emotional curiosity, it just opened up at that point, and I have never looked back. I've never been drawn to another field. The draw to intensive work, and specifically at Restoring the Soul, was the ability for me to really just focus and put my effort and energy into one person or one couple for a week. I loved the idea of seeing what all I could accomplish in that time, rather than having to space it out over weeks or months. If I could see a client's potential on session 1 in private practice, I would always feel this little bit of grief that it would be weeks or months before I knew they would experience lasting change, when the only limiting factor was time. I feel like I have a special ability with people who have been victimized, people who have a lot of trauma in their histories and don't have much of a sense of themselves. I love to help those people come more into their being, become more grounded, just feel more like their truest selves that God made them to be. I love to use this time together as a time to slow people down and help expose them to different ways of connecting to God than maybe what they're used to back home. But I truly take people wherever they are at spiritually. I love the Enneagram because I'd never had something embarrass me so much when I read about my own number and my own growth work. And I have seen it produce such beautiful fruit in almost every single person that I work with. Being able to see people through all different lenses, that we are not identical. Most people in marriages feel like, why isn't my partner more like me? Why don't they do the things that I do? And the Enneagram provides a very clear answer for exactly why we are different, and that we must learn how to relate to other people on their terms, not just on our terms alone. I do not hide the fact that I will always seek resources for myself for a whole lifetime, and that I am a complex and sensitive person, and therefore I am going to have to be taking responsibility for my brokenness, my issues. I will have some new, problem come up in my life, and I love working in a place where I don't have to hide that. I'm not at all encouraged to pretend that I have it together. I am very personally aware of just how lonely it can be to be a person in leadership, whether that is corporate leadership or in the Christian world in ministry. And those individuals are so in need of a safe place to be seen and heard. I love providing that. I used to think that everybody could benefit from therapy, but it would only be a few people who would want or need an intensive. I have changed after doing this for almost 2 years now. I think everyone would benefit from doing intensive work and taking this kind of time away to reflect upon where they have been and where they're going and who they are. I work with individuals and couples, and in my work with couples, I find that, generally speaking, two people who deeply love each other, have usually loved each other for a long time, but have gotten into some dysfunctional patterns with one another. And I will often see that they have begun to truly stereotype each other, and they just see they see the other person as a caricature of their temperament, of their bad habits. And I love helping them see each other again in a far deeper way, really knowing how to meet their precious partner where they are at and accept them for who they are, and help draw out the very best versions of one another together.